Hi, this is Phoenix, and I'd like to talk very briefly about my theory of resilience, or what could be called a theory of resilience. I understand that often life is very difficult. I've been knocked down quite a bit recently by various things in my life, from difficult relationships to difficulties at work, as well as many other things. Of course, this is life, and these are the things that we deal with, and that is why I try to focus on positivity, positive thinking, and really trying to do your best no matter what happens, and really doing your personal best. I have been learning how to do metal music in terms of metal vocals, and that has been very rewarding, even though it's also been very hard. Just learning music in general, and definitely a lot of writing. My book, Mindblade, should be coming out with NR, Nihilism Revised, very soon, which I'm very excited for. And that's kind of the aspect that I wanted to mention, which is that I'm choosing to focus on positive things despite what I might be feeling and how things might hurt very much. So my theory of resilience is pretty simple. I basically think of Friedrich Nietzsche and his two ideas that accompany each other. First, his idea about the inner struggle and how no one else knows what that inner struggle is, but how the person who is experiencing it does, and they know how very real it is and how powerful it is, as well as how important. Then, taking into account the whole notion of how terrifying reality is, you put these two ideas together and you start to think about things in a different light. The way that I understand life is often very related to these theories of intense striving, and that is what I focus on in terms of thinking about my own personal resilience and the things that I keep pushing forward towards. It can be very difficult, but I do think that life is not linear. I think that life is often very creative, and the only way that we can get to our breakthroughs, whether cognitively or creatively, is to keep pushing our boundaries, and we have to keep pushing them and doing our best. And the best way that I can explain the way that I get through it, at least recently, is by realizing that oftentimes the things that we think will not immediately line up with the way that things are. But nonetheless, if we're persistent with the way that we express ourselves, this can really mean a lot. For me, this is by throwing myself into my intellectual work, as well as my art, which includes music and writing. And that is definitely how I get through. It doesn't mean that it's easy, but it certainly helps me to contextualize things in a different light. In other words, life isn't supposed to be easy. We have to keep trying. We have to keep pushing forward and pushing through it no matter how hard it is. And I think this is how we get through it. And this is how we keep trying. So just remember that our reality is non-algorithmic, which means there is no direct formula that we can plug in to be able to get the results that we like, but often that is the point of it, because we're working with many variables and we're pushing those variables and challenging those variables the more that we continue to push ourselves, as Friedrich Nietzsche might imply. This is Phoenix, and I hope you enjoyed this little talk. I'll see you around.